Meeting 9 of the Citizens Commission on Elected Officials' Compensation will now come to order. Good afternoon to all. I'll ask each of the commission members, as is our custom, to identify themselves for the record, beginning with Commission Member Murdoch.
Good afternoon, William Murdoch.
Commission Member Tyler Lee.
Good afternoon, Dawn Tyler Lee.
Marshall Moore.
And I'm Chet Christie. I serve as chair. We'll note for the record that Commission Member Kristen Easterday is not present at today's meeting for a very joyous reason. She fortunately has given birth to her second child, and we congratulate her on that very successful delivery and joyous occasion of the birth of her child. I'll ask for the record that we identify all staff who are present, beginning with Mr. Paul.
Ken Paul, Columbus City Council.
Rory McGinnis, Mayor's Office.
Greg Beaverson, Department of Human Resources.
Angie Blevins, City Clerk.
Thank you. And Mr. Diamond. Outstanding. Thank you. I don't believe that we have any guests present at the time. Allow me to very briefly review the Commission's charge. Section 15-1 of the Columbus City Charter provides that the salary of all elective officers provided for in this charter shall be established by ordinance upon recommendation from a Citizens Commission of Elected Officials' Compensation. Section 15-3 establishes the duties of the Commission, and it provides that the Commission shall conduct a review of salaries for all like positions in the public sector. The review shall be made for the purpose of recommending salaries appropriate to the duties and responsibilities of each elective officer of the city. Section 15-4 indicates that the Commission shall submit to the City Clerk a report of recommendations for the salary of each elective officer of the city, including an annual cost of living adjustment which shall not exceed the average increase in the Consumer Price Index or successor thereto during the preceding 4 years. Beginning on March 12, 2015, and including today, June the 16th of 2015, the Citizens Commission on Elected Officials' Compensation has held 9 meetings, including 3 public hearings. The third such hearing is being scheduled for today at a later point in our agenda. The Commission has also established the practice of broadcasting all of the meetings of all of the Commission meetings on the city's CTV channel. The Commission has created a dedicated web page on the City of Columbus's website, specifically www.columbus.gov/compensation commission. On that particular page, it contains all of the meeting minutes, meeting documents, and links to the video of each meeting. At each of our public hearings, the public has been afforded the opportunity to offer testimony per the rules of council. The public has also had the opportunity to participate via online comment forms, email, and by phone. In order to accomplish its charge, the Compensation Commission at our March 12, 2015 meeting reviewed the salary history of city elected officials and reviewed the salary schedule and the years for which the Commission would make specific salary recommendations. At our March 25, 2015 meeting, the Commission selected 29 peer cities to benchmark and develop the framework for our consideration of the data, research, and all of the relevant information that would support our recommendation to Council. During our April 30th, 2015 meeting, the Commission participated in a video conference with staff from our peer commission in Phoenix, Arizona, where we had the opportunity to interview Karen Peters, who was a senior executive assistant to the city manager, and Mr. Sam Feldman, a management assistant, both of whom managed the Phoenix Commission. Both provided tremendous insight into their process. Also on April 30th, the Commission received a detailed presentation on the CPI from one of our renowned local economists, Dr. Bill Lafayette from Regionomics. And we subsequently received a summary of Dr. Lafayette's presentation. During our May 19th meeting, the Commission determined the specific years for which it would set base salaries for each of the city's elected officials, determined the form of CPI that would be used. We received a summary of the data collected from the 29 peer cities and a very detailed presentation of that data. And we also approved an outline of the final report to be submitted to Council. Finally, based on the cumulative data presented and I think very extensive deliberation on the part of the Commission members, the Commission made recommendations on the base salary for the office of Mayor, City Council President, City Council Member, City Attorney, and City Auditor at our June 11th, 2015 meeting. Today's meeting represents the third opportunity for the public to offer testimony pursuant to the rules of council. When we get to the appropriate point in our agenda, we'll ask for specific public comment. And just, again, for the record, we want to provide a very brief overview of that procedure. The public may offer testimony per the rules of council. Speakers are afforded an opportunity to fill out a speaker slip. Those speaker slips are available in the hall adjacent to the entrance to the City Council chambers. Speaker slips will be accepted until approximately 4:00 p.m. Each speaker will have 3 minutes to speak. Written testimony is also welcome and will be received. At the time the speaker slips are received, and when we reach that point in the agenda, we'll call each speaker in the order that those slips are received. I believe that takes care of all of the preliminary matters that we needed to review for the record. Have all the Commission members had an opportunity to review the minutes of the June 11th meeting? And if so, I will entertain a motion to approve the minutes of that meeting.
So moved.
Properly moved by Commission Member Moore.
Second.
And seconded by Commission Member Tyler Lee, that we approve the minutes of the June 11th, 2015 meeting. Any questions on the motion? Hearing none. All in favor of the motion may show by the usual sign of aye.
Aye.
All opposed have the same right. The ayes have it, and the motion carries. The minutes of the June 11th, 2015 meeting are approved. At our last meeting, our Commission members voted unanimously on the recommendations of each of the city elected officials. And I asked staff at that time to prepare a draft of our final report. It's my understanding that that draft has been completed, and I would like for Mr. McGinnis at this point to walk us through the draft.
All right. Thank you very much, Chair Christie.
Sure, thank
in
you,
front of you is the draft Commission report, and this should be in relatively good form. Obviously, there's certainly room for updates and modifications. The only thing that you don't have are all of the appendices, and that's where I ran out of time from the time of our last meeting and until today to be able to put all this together. And we are not lacking in appendices. We have 19 of them, so that shows you to the amount of work and thoroughness that both the Commission and staff have gone through on this. So I'm just going to walk through the document a little bit, and if during the course of that, if anyone has any questions, feel free to ask those, and we will we'll then take your input there. Anyway, starting at the front page, thankfully had the help of our friends in the Department of Technology who help us with putting together some of our branding materials, and so they put together a nice front page of the document. And onto the table of contents, we have the first item is the letter from the commission. And again, we can change this any way that we wish to. This was just a first idea to try to capture the essence of the work that we all worked on here. And later in the meeting, I'm going to get a blank piece of paper to get everyone's signatures on there so that when we do have a final document, we can insert those into the document. So then our next item is the executive summary, and that's basically just kind of an overall summary of the document put together in a condensed 2-page format. Then we have a detailed background. We start basically from the Charter Review Commission, and we're lucky to have both Commissioner Tyler Lee and Commissioner Moore, who were served admirably on that commission to have that background. And then we also in the background we talk about how the commission was established, the reasons it was established, a little bit of background on the selection of the members and staff members who contributed towards the effort, and then basically a summary of what happened at each of our 9 meetings that we did. Then the next section on page 9 is on public outreach. This talks about all the efforts that we did to engage the public, as well as how we inform people about our meetings and about the televised nature of each of them. And we also have in Appendix 13, we'll have all the responses that the commission received from the public on the process. And then we get to the recommendations. So the first one is the salary schedule. That's basically where we determined in what years for each office holder that we would recommend compensation. And then we move on to the recommendation of the 2020 mayor salary, and that recaps what we accomplished last week and reasoning for that. Then we have the 2018 city council member salary. Then we have city council president, the city attorney base salary, the city auditor salary, and then the last recommendation we have is on the consumer price index and cost of living adjustment. That was that we previously approved a few meetings ago. And then we get to all the different appendices. I'm not going to read each one of these, but if there's anything, and you may not have had enough time to spend with it today, but if there's anything you think that we're missing from the appendices side of things or from a content side of things, please let me know.
Thank you, Mr. McGinnis. Any initial comments or thoughts from commission members? If not, I'm sorry. Commission Member Murdoch.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wanted to commend the staff on very comprehensively taking all of the discussions and recommendations and boiling them down to an attractive, concise, but informative document. And just upon first read, I didn't see anything that needed to be changed.
Other comments? Commission Member Tyler Lee.
I've not yet had the opportunity to go through the document in great detail, but at initial scan, it looks like staff has done a great job of capturing the work over the last 4 or 5 months. I'm not exactly sure how long it's been, and certainly want to commend all the staff members through the mayor's office and through city council who have really led us through this process. We recognize that this is a tremendous body of work that's been accomplished, and of course it's on top of your other duties. So to the entire city team, thank you for guiding us through this process and for all your hard work getting us to this point.
Thank you, Commissioner, for your kind words. We appreciate it.
Commissioner Member Moore?
I would just like to reiterate what the other commissioners have said. You've done yeoman's work, and we appreciate it. Thank you.
And at the risk of redundancy, I will echo the sentiments that have already been expressed by the other commission members. I certainly have an appreciation for the amount of time and effort it takes to amass this volume of work, volume of data, and the other independent research that was conducted. Not to mention the extensive analysis that was undertaken by staff, and realizing that this was our first effort, and we were, in some respects, really groping in the dark. The ability to pull all this together, as Commissioner Member Murdoch has said, in a concise and I think very efficient, while at the same time being significant enough and detailed enough for anyone reading the report to quickly conclude or understand how we reached our conclusions. It was an outstanding effort on everyone's part. And I think, unfortunately, just looking at 15 or 20 pages worth of summary, the public is not going to get an appreciation for the amount of work that went into reaching these recommendations on the part of staff. So, well, or at least reaching the conclusions that led to our recommendations. So, again, thank you all for tremendous work that you've done on getting us to this stage. I just want to reiterate a couple of things. First of all, I would recommend that our commission members would again go through as thoroughly as you can all the details of the report. Any comments that you may have, we need to get back to staff by the 22nd of June. That's a week from today. I'm hopeful that that time frame is doable. From there, I'd like for staff to finalize the report for our review by Wednesday, June the 30th. If there are no other immediate additions to what we've seen or what's been already presented to us, I would ask staff to make the draft report immediately available to the public for their comment and to provide any public comment that you receive back to the Commission so that we can, again, finalize that report for submission to the clerk. If there are no additional changes, then we'll ask staff to send the final report to the clerk, City Council clerk, for Council's consideration. I want to reiterate for the record that Section 15-5 of the Charter outlines and specifies that Council will need to pass an ordinance in order to accept the recommendations of the Commission or any part thereof, or to reject the recommendation. If Council rejects the recommendations, the salaries then in effect shall remain unchanged. And in no event may Council adopt an ordinance establishing salaries that exceed the Commission's recommendations. And the actual ordinance that's prepared for Council's consideration and adoption will be one more method by which the public will have the opportunity to provide feedback on the report. Again, just to reiterate the dates, if Commission members are prepared to review the report as thoroughly as they can and get comments back by June 22nd, then we'll have staff to incorporate those comments and have a final report, again, for our review by Wednesday, June the 30th. Is everyone comfortable with those dates? Commission members, staff? Okay, very good. And last but not least, again, I want to make sure that staff makes the draft report available to the public as quickly as possible. It's just about 4 o'clock, and I know that we indicated we would receive public comments or would receive speaker slips up until approximately 4 o'clock. Mr. Paul, to your knowledge, have there been any speaker slips submitted?
No, to this point, there have not been any speaker slips submitted for this meeting. Do want to reiterate, this was public noticed, just as all the prior meetings, both in the City Bulletin, but then also to news outlets and council distribution list. We have received, and the Commission earlier in the process reviewed a couple submissions through the web form that were responded to, not directly to the recommendations, but the process. We have not received any additional public comment through those means, but we will be putting the draft report up online, the dedicated website, all the supporting documentation, and associated with each individual meeting is on the website currently, the minutes of all those meetings, and also the video from each individual meeting is available online also. And expect that while some of that, well, most of it will be included in the appendices of the final report, any of those documents that were made available online will be archived, and we have the benefit of having the city clerk as part of this process. Video, minutes, all the data will be maintained by the city clerk for reference to the next Citizens Commission on Compensation, which is set to assemble in 2018. But for now, there is no additional public comment.
Very good. Thank you, sir. There is one other matter that I just thought of and wanted to make reference. At some point in an earlier meeting, it might have been 2 meetings ago, we spoke about if there were any specific recommendations or lessons learned, if you will, that commission members may want to incorporate within our report. I don't know whether or not that's something that we intended on trying to capture within the initial letter. I don't believe so. I thought it was maybe intended to be a separate component of the report. And going back through the initial draft, can you just enlighten me, Mr. McGinnis, as to whether or not that's captured here within the report itself and where?
There's nothing in here that's specific to that.
Okay.
But there's certainly no reason why it couldn't be. You know, maybe a place to put that might be, maybe it's in a conclusion.
Yeah.
I originally had a conclusion in here, and then I took it out because I was thinking the conclusion was pretty much the executive summary in a lot of ways. But that might be a good place to do that. I would just need to have, you know, some guidance from the commissioners as to some of those items that they would wish to have in there.
What may make sense would be for us to, if any of us have specific thoughts in terms of some lessons learned, things that we may want to pass on to the next commission, we can simply provide them to you, and you can make the determination as to where they best fit within the report. And we'll go from there, if commission members are comfortable with that approach. Okay? And I'm pretty sure that we have 1 or 2 thoughts that we can provide for your consideration. And we'll be sure to do that by the 22nd, and then they can be incorporated in what you share back with us on the 30th. Are there any final thoughts from commission members before we adjourn, this being our last formal meeting? Allow me to say that it has been a true privilege and an honor to, one, to serve as chair, and I don't take that lightly at all. It was truly a privilege to receive the appointment from both the mayor and from council president, but an equal privilege to have gone through this process with each of you. I realize the sacrifices that have been made in terms of your personal time and your efforts. All of you hold positions of great responsibility within our community, and you have incredible schedules that you had to go through a lot of hoop jumping, for lack of a better term, to make this work. But you were gracious enough to do so, and it's greatly appreciated, certainly by me, and I know by the members of council and the administration and by staff, most importantly by the citizens of our community for whom we worked. So again, thank you to each of you for your professional talents and your abilities, for what you brought to the deliberation and to the discussion, and for aiding all of us to work through this process collectively and in a very cohesive and I think very professional manner. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
Any final thoughts or comments from staff?
I think a simple thank you. I don't think I could articulate our appreciation much better than the chair, but thanks to each of you, thanks to Chair Christie. The time and effort put into this process is very much appreciated.
And I would just echo what Ken had said as well. We've had it's been a great experience working with each of you, and really appreciate your service to the city.
Very good. And to the other members of staff who may not have had an opportunity to be heard on the mic today, thank you. You all have been in the background, but quite frankly, in terms of the efficiency and the success of this process, you've been very much in the forefront. So thank you to all of you for all that you've done.
And Mr. Chairman, I actually have a request of the commission. If the commissioners remember early on in the process when we were discussing salary surveys and the amount of time that it takes for other municipalities to complete a salary survey, especially as one as comprehensive as what we created, kind of the give and take that we do there is when we're done with our process, we'd like to be able to send those results back to the cities that participated. So I am asking for your confirmation, if that's okay, for us to return those salary survey results to the cities that participated, because they'll certainly appreciate having that data as well.
I see a unanimous nodding of heads, so I'm certain that would be something that meets with the approval of the commission members. In addition to that, Mr. Beaverson, if I may,
yes, sir.
I'd like to suggest that if you have the time and you can pen a short thank you to each of the cities who participated and who were kind enough to respond, and allow for that to be signed by each of the commission members, and just forward copies of that to each of the cities for whom you have contact information, that would be great. I think it would just be one more way in which we can express our appreciation to them, one, for the short turnaround, and two, for the time that they've taken to assist us in this process.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I think that's an excellent idea. I know that the other cities that participated will be very appreciative of that, a kind of a personalized thank you from the commission members, and I'll make sure it gets done.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
And I believe we'll have a blank sheet where we can provide each of our signatures, and it can be used both for purposes of signing the report and for the letter that we've just made reference to. Outstanding. If there are no further matters for us to address, thank you all again for your time, effort, and your service. We are adjourned.